I meant to do it like on the back of the page, the notes,
Yeah.
but it didn't print that way.
I like that it's helping us use the system.
Yes.
So anybody who's new, this is the DMO planner sheet, and it's on thefreedomrevolution.com, password revolution, and then you could go search in the A through Z, and you can find it easily, DMO. Operation. I think that was one of the things that made us talk, Kirsten, besides that message I had about the unconscious and how we just go through life if we're not really doing anything to interfere with our unconscious, usual thinking, negative. Usually it goes to negative a lot. Then we're missing out, And so Kirsten and I were talking about that and how she also is loving this DMO sheet. So that's kind of how it came about that I said, oh, I love your excitement. Can you come on our lunch and learn? Because, I like for you guys to hear from people who are excited, people who are doing it. That's inspiring. And people often wonder, how can I be a leader? Just by doing the business and sharing how you're doing it or your excitement. That's really being a leader. So that's why, like John Maxwell or somebody says, leadership is earned every day, because we have to show up, and that's leadership. Just showing up and then sharing is leadership. So pretty cool. It doesn't have to be a lot, So Kirsten, tell us what you're excited about. And also you guys, let's use the chat. Okay. I see some people are talking about their DMO sheet. You can still post your sheet. Don't worry. So Kirsten, tell us some things you're excited about. I know you're excited about a few things that we talked about. Let's talk about the DMO one at first.
Okay. I am. I'm super excited about the I Love DMO challenge, this 14-day challenge, for several reasons. One is I've got the sideways DMO planner. I'm really good at about 3 boxes. That's it. Okay, I'm really good at 3 boxes. The rest of the boxes don't really get checked that much.
Which boxes?
And so when Doug put this out, what's that?
Which boxes? I'm going to interrupt so that.
The follow-up, the 2 follow-ups, the customer and the team. Okay. My new is horrible. I'm just being totally transparent, vulnerable with you. Okay. Finding new people. I've been in this business 18 years. I think I know everyone. No, I don't. There's plenty of new people out there, but I still struggle, you guys. I still struggle with fear. I still struggle with opening up my mouth. I still struggle with being bold and sharing my story with somebody new, or, I do talk to a lot of people building relationships, and I don't count that. I don't count it until I share Juice Plus. Then I put them in for me. That's when I put them in the new. So I'm building relationships all the time, but I'm not necessarily opening my mouth. So when Doug put this out, those were the 3. As you can see, there's still the 3 that are like mostly full. There's a couple check marks down here, but the 3-way call, as much as I encourage it with everyone, a lot of my team doesn't take me up on it. Some do, but a lot of them don't. And I know the value of the 3-way call. But I personally don't even use it that much with my upline. I'm just using it for my downline as much. I still need to use it for me. So I just want to tell all of you leaders out there, you're doing all the 3-way calls. You call your leader and do 3-way calls too, because you really need to. You still need to, and it's just going to open you up for yourself. But I was excited because this is the system. We know the DMO works. I've heard it over and over and over again from other NMDs that when you do the daily method of operation, you stick to it. So it's a consistency thing. The momentum starts happening, and you start building confidence because you're doing activity, and you get really uncomfortable. Sometimes I'm going to talk about that in a different way, because I don't want you to focus on your weaknesses. We're not talking about that today, so we're going to focus on our strengths. And so how can I do the DMO challenge in my strengths? Because there's a lot of areas of weakness on here for me, but I'm not focusing on the weakness. I'm focusing on how in my strength, in my attitude, my mindset, my person, my gifts and talents, how can I reach new people? Because that's a weakness for me, but how in my strength can I reach new people? So I'm loving it.
What's it right there?
I love that it's a way to see where you don't usually focus on.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the DMO planner, the base of it is 2 new, 2 follow-up of the 2 new. So preferably you share with somebody and you say, hey, I'd love to follow up with you when it's fresh in your mind. Within 24 hours would be great because I want to hear from you when it's fresh in your mind. And it's really only like an 11-minute video or a 4-minute video, whatever it is. So that's the new people, you kind of set them up for the next part, which is the follow-up. Hey, we talked about talking today. Today's still a good time, yada, yada. And it's not always going to work out. So then it's like moving the bar, but you always want to create urgency. Oh, how about tonight or tomorrow morning, So 2 follow-ups. So that's 2 new, 2 follow-ups, 2 customers, and then 2 team. So what we always end up doing, because we love our team, is always talking to team. I mean, who doesn't want to talk to the people we already know and love? And it's easy conversations, we're all on the same page. We're all, thinking the same kind of thoughts and stuff like that. So it's harder to talk to those other people, but the other people are the ones that are really going to be the new and fresh and build our businesses to where, the people who are already with us, that's where we're at, they've gotten us here, but we need to keep moving further. So anyway, but that's the basis. And Doug used to say to me, why don't you just get the 8 calls done in the beginning of the morning and then you're done for the day. I mean, that's in the perfect world. That's what we
I know. But the other thing I do love about the DMO challenge, Sharon, is that it does give me my activity for the day.
Yeah.
And when it is done, it is done.
Right. You feel
and
done.
When you don't mark your DMO down, when you don't do your DMO, it's hanging on you because you all know what you should be doing, right? We should ourselves all the time. It's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if you just sit down and do it, you are freed up for the rest of your life or the day. It's amazing. So that is probably one of the other big things for me is the focused activity to free my day up. And then I'm still building relationships. I'm talking, I'm doing stuff. But if I get my activity done, it's not weighing on me like I should be doing something. Does that resonate with anybody?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think the more I talk to any team members, they want to do more. Like if I call somebody and they haven't been around for a while, I'll just say, hey, but then they'll be like, oh my gosh, I really want to do, more with Juice Plus or whatever. They want to. So this really provides the structure, like you're saying. And we used to say, and we still can, instead of 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, if they work full time and they're really busy, then do 1 by 1 by 1 by 1. Mm-hmm. 1 new, 1 follow-up, 1 customer, 1 team member a day. We still would be probably cranking if we did that too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other, just because we're bringing up the DMO part. Yeah. On the DMO after that, it says events, 3-way Zooms or calls. Those 2, and then social media checkbox or personal growth. I would say if you do 3-way calls or Zooms or events, those are still things. Mute yourself. I don't know who it is. If you do 3-way calls or Zooms or events, that's still money-making activity. Anytime you're talking to people, and moving things forward. Okay, there we go. Mm-hmm. All right, so we'll go to our next subject, Kirsten.
Okay.
So which one do you want to talk about first?
Oh, I want to talk about Strength Finders.
I know you're really excited about that.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. I got introduced to Strength Finders through a sideline NMD buddy. Her name is Anita Coward, and she and her husband have been doing Strength Finders for like 20 years. They're homeschooling families. He was a pastor. They used it at their church, and they do it with their team. And so she was telling a group of us more about Strength Finders. And I'm going to show you a couple books. It's from Gallup. This is one, Strength Finders 2.0. One of the things that I have found is that when, and you're going to see this all the time. I'm going to read just this little thing to you about what Strength Finders is, but it's truly about finding your gifts and talents, your personal, unique gifts and talents that are your strengths. And they're going to give you your top 5. They've categorized 34 strengths. Okay. And they're going to give you your top 5 in order, because one of the issues is we devote so much time in our life to our weaknesses and to improving ourselves. Okay. Strength Finders is about figuring out what you're really good at. What do you do best every day? Most likely you guys don't even know what they are. You might have an inkling of what they are, but we devote, like I devote more time to my shortcomings where I might make a little bit of a improvement. But if I were to focus on my strengths, I would go from here to here. I would just jump, because it's a natural gift and talent. It's a natural strength. It's living in what you've already been giving and maximizing that. So that's what the Strength Finders is about really, it speaks you. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's just so crazy, you guys, when you do the test, it's like, it'll probably take you just a half an hour to do it. That's it. And if you get the book, in the back of the book, there's this little sheet like this, and it's got a code, and you just cut it out and you can give that code on the website on the Gallup, and you take the test. Okay. And then there's tons of resources. So they give you this insights guide. These are my top strengths. Okay. They'll tell you your top strengths, and then they go into individual ones. What, Sharon?
Go ahead and tell us about your strengths.
Oh, all right. My top 5 strengths. First is positivity. Positivity, you guys can figure out positivity. Maximizer is always looking for a way to make something just a little bit better, to maximize the strength. That's why I love Strength Finders. It says that I love it because I want to dive into people's strengths. I want to encourage them and bring them up a level. Okay, developer. I love relationships. I love to develop people. Nobody is ever completely finished. I love everyone's clay, and they can be molded and shaped and strengthened. And I like to be a part of that developing process. Arranger. I love to arrange things. Not funny. I never thought I was an arranger. And then empathy is my 5th one. And I am very relational, compassionate. Empathy is a big one for me. So, but you know what, you guys? I got positivity. I knew I was positive and I knew I was empathetic, but I had no idea of the other 3 until I read the paragraph, and then it was speaking my language, but I couldn't put it in those words. So that's where it helps you. I'll give you some other ones. Responsibility is one. Connectedness is one. Woo, winning over others. That I'm jealous. I want that one. Woo. I want to win over others. That's my son. It's his number 1. I mean, it's crazy. It is so cool, because when you do the Strength Finders yourself, you're going to know yourself better. But when you have your team do Strength Finders, you're going to know them better. And you're going to know where they're strong and where you can work together as a team. So I had my QSSEs and sales coordinators all do it. I gave it to them for Christmas. And I had them do the Strength Finders. And there's a group of us that are in a line there's 4 of us. And so we all got together on Zoom, and we're talking through our strengths and, really diving into them. And I'll tell you what, you guys, that was the most encouraging time. Because when you're speaking someone else's strengths, you're edifying them, you're affirming them, you're proud of them, you're seeing where they fit. And one of the things with this Juice Plus business is there's a system, right? And there is a way to do Juice Plus, but within that system, we all have our own unique gifts and talents, and we're all creative. Some people are amazing at social media, creating that, and a lot of them are actually introverts that do social media so well. Okay, that's what I have found. I am not, I'm an extrovert. So doing it through social media is like so foreign to me. And I have such a hard time with it. Well, you know what? I can't spend a lot of time perfecting my social media, but what I can do is where I'm positive and I like to affirm people, and I'm empathetic. So I can post quotes. I don't have to get all crazy creative. I can read about somebody else and affirm them and post. I can copy a post and maybe change it a little bit, but I'm not going to spend a ton of time creating, developing, because that's not my gift at all. And that would be a waste of my time. Social media is still important, very important, but I have to learn to use my gifts and talents in that. Does that make sense? Excuse me. So I am like so excited about this, you guys. This is another book you can get called Living Your Strengths, that is from more, it gives you a little bit a spiritual background, just so for those of you who want a biblical worldview too, this will give you some more on that end of things. So this is just everybody, okay? And this just gives a little more on the spiritual side of things. And it's just amazing. Has anybody done Strength Finders?
Yeah, let's let Doug talk. He put in the chat the Google sheet.
Oh, good.
So we did this in 2015. It looks like maybe senior sales or SC and above, a little hit or miss. But if you click on that link, you can see it on our team. That's how I organized it. And it was good. I used to do this at work all the time too, with staff and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think
That's
it's great.
amazing. Oh, how cool.
Sharon's got the woo.
I love it, Sharon.
Sharon is,
Jeannie's got the woo.
Sharon is harmony, positivity, woo, includer, and input.
Wow. Info. Yes, you are a collector of info.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
It
Yep.
totally explains things, because Doug would be like, why are you saving that? Why do you have all this stuff on your computer? I'm like, I like it. I like to know things. I like to have things that I know that I can find, you know? So yeah, it's funny. Or I like to read things. I used to say I could read any book, all the books in the library. I would love it. So
I was just texting you. I had to leave if you were ready.
Oh, it kind of explains, you know, a lot about yourself. And then you're like, oh, pretty cool, you know?
Mhm.
And Denzel has a good question. How do we work on our weaknesses? You know, so I think one of the first steps in you know, because we're always talking about personal development, and then there's like a list of books as if all the books were equal for everybody. They're not, because like Kirsten said, she has a certain strength and I have a certain strength. I want to lean in and become a grandmaster of my strengths, but my weaknesses, like Denzel is asking,
In
try to
depth,
fill the gap enough that it bothers me, you know what I mean? So I
So
think
repeat that, Doug. Please say that again.
I
Something
would say
happened.
we lean into our strengths, so
Right.
that can be like our ultimate unique, our superpower. But then our weaknesses, we got to fill in the gaps at least to the point where it's not dragging me down. And so the way you do that, the first thing you have to do, Denzel, is you have to know what your weaknesses and strengths are. So something like Strength Finders or the, what is it called? Anagram and other things like that. Even the Myers-Briggs is a great one. And then read about them. That's why the book's important. You might be able to find Strength Finders online, but if you don't get the book, forget about it. The book is great. It's not that much money. They send you a whole evaluation. Then you take your weaknesses. You look for mentoring. You read books about those subjects. Like for me, networking, because I'm an introvert and networking is such a big part of this, I've bought books that are titled things like Networking for Introverts and People Who Don't Really Like People. You know, things like that, you know? So because that's how I have to develop me. And then now, I mean, I don't love it, but I can turn it on whenever I need to and say, oh, now it's time I need to step into like a networking role or something. Hopefully that helps.
Oh, I hope so. And Doug, for Denzel, you know, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say it's a long journey. So it's not like you find out what you need to fix and you just fix it that month. I mean, this is like a lifetime of personal development. It never stops.
No, it doesn't. That personal development is so important. And one of the things that you'll learn with Strength Finders, and just as you personal developing, is you're going to learn the things that bring down your strengths. You know, as you know your strengths, it also will tell you who do you need to work with, because you might be weak in this area and they're strong. So they're going to help you compensate for your weaknesses. So we're not going to really focus on our weaknesses. We're going to build a team of people that are going to cover our weaknesses and help build our strengths. You know, one of the things that was why I was excited about sharing with you guys today, you know, and also want to talk about mindset and positive mindset affirmations, because I realized what my strengths were. I took some time off at Christmas from life. I just kind of took a 2-week break to really spend time with family, spend time building myself. And one of the things I realized was that I allowed some things in my life. Some were people, some were things, some were activities that were pulling me down. So my positivity that's normally here, excuse me, I have a tickle, you know, was down here, and I wasn't living in my strength. And I was living in a little bit of self-pity. I was looking backwards and focusing more in the rear view mirror than in the front window. You know, I was allowing, you know, COVID and some of the oppression that happened with COVID to really take me out of living in my strengths. And so I realized that, and I'm so grateful I did, because I was feeling this heaviness and I didn't know why. I didn't know why. Here I was studying these strengths. Here I was getting all excited about working on my strengths, but I still felt this heaviness. And I really did need to take some time to figure that out. And once I did, you guys, it's so important to surround yourself with people who are going to build you up. And in COVID and during this time, when you can't physically necessarily be with someone, you got to find a way to have people who build you up and not tear you down. I was allowing a lot of the tearing down to really wreck me. It's so bad, you know, but now that I really have turned that around, and early morning success ritual, right? EMSR from Tommy Newberry from last year's conference. You got to get your early morning success ritual down, meaning you got to start building into you first before anything else. Because if you don't build into you and you don't build the affirmations into you and spend time into you, then you're just going to get sucked by your day, completely sucked by your day. And that's what I was allowing. I was allowing everyone else to suck my day instead of being in control of my day. So as you're finding out your strengths, you guys, you know, spend time in the morning for you. Spend time for you, man. When you spend time for you, then you're filled up and you can pour into others. Otherwise, you're pouring out of your own strength and forget it. I was doing that all the time. So, but now I can focus on positivity, and I know what brings me down. And I surround myself with people who can build me up, like Sharon, like all of you guys, you know, staying connected. Holy cow, isn't it the best, Sharon? If we can just stay connected, we can be encouraged. But as soon as we pull out and we stop connecting, then we crash and burn.
I love that. That is why we implemented this a year ago, to stay connected, Because everybody always loves the community and the culture. This is the culture. We're always trying to just get better at life, you know, in all different ways. So positive mindset is super important, because without that, you know, you're not going to get a whole lot done. You're going to feel miserable. There's so many people that, I mean, my nails, Nicole, I saw that in the chat. I got my nails done the other day after a year of COVID. Anyway, but yeah, you just, you know, there's something about feeding your soul, you know, like I need to get to the beach. I need to get out and ride around or read books or be outside a lot, you know. You've got to do those things that will bring you back to who you are too.
Yes.
Because yeah, there's so much negativity, especially social media or news, things like that. You've got to protect your brain. And we're really learning a lot about, you know, those kinds of influences, right? And so Kirsten and I were also talking about the book, Train Your Brain. Now, I know you haven't gotten into it too far. I'll tell you one scenario. You probably weren't going to talk about the basketball scenario.
I didn't hear that one yet.
Okay.
Did I? Is it at the beginning of the book?
No, I don't think so. I don't know.
Okay.
I forget.
I was doing the eyesight one was flipping me out.
Oh, I wonder what.
And the personalities. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Okay,
Go
good.
on.
There's so many different things in that book. There's the lemon one. I don't know if you caught that one, but okay. So this one's about visualization. So say you wanted to do something, like say you're going to go to the doctor's office, you're going to share Juice Plus. I don't know. You know, if you can visualize it first, or visualize it many times, say it's Friday, and you visualize how the conversation is going to go, or say you're going to a game that you're competing in, you visualize how it's going to go, how, you know, you can actually do a lot of the work in your mind as to how it's going to go. So there's this test that they did where, and this was during basketball season with them, I was like, oh my gosh, this is genius, where they had some people go and shoot free throws. You know, it's kind of like serving in volleyball. You should not miss, right?
Right.
So you should always make your free throws. So they took people to practice free throws for, I don't know, let's say an hour, or it was a half an hour, I forget, every day, or visualize that you're making the free throws. They did actually better visualizing that they were going to make the free throws than when they actually went and physically practiced.
Wow.
So, I mean, there's a lot that your mind can do. That's why it's so cool to start really studying it and realizing a lot of what holds us back is our thoughts. And if we can conquer negative thoughts, we're going to win. We're going to win in life a lot more than if we stay in our rut. Because also, one of the things I was reading, every day you kind of have the same thoughts. It's like we have 90,000 thoughts and a lot of them are the same, you know, every day. Well, who wants that, right? So shake up your life a little bit. I always like to say, get out of the house, go do something, bring your laptop somewhere else, you know, go and have a good time. Doug and I say things like, we're not living the dream unless we're living the dream, you know, because we get stuck in our ruts of our everyday. Yeah, Doug gets a lot of credit. Look at him. He's a master. That's why I love that he joined us in the business, 5 years ago? Because I was always like, I get to hear all these things, you know, because I've heard the coaching all along, and now everybody can. So tap into Doug for sure. Okay, sorry, Kirsten. So go to Train the Brain, what you're going to talk about, that book. You guys can look at it. It's got a little.
Oh my gosh, you guys, it's amazing. Well, Sharon, I just have to give you huge props because it was last fall sometime, it was towards the end of the year, I think November, that you did a talk on mindset, you know, for here. It was a lunch and learn.
Yeah.
And it was exactly what I needed. It just affirmed everything for me. I was going through the strength finders, and yet I was still living in this stinking thinking. And you guys, it happens to all of us. So I just want you to know it is okay. Okay, you're going to be on a mountaintop and you're going to be hitting your promotion. Everything's going to be going great. And then it's going to go, you know, and you're still going to go into the stinking thinking mode. So you got it is a constant battle to be focusing on mindset. And this book that you talked about, Sharon, it is blowing me away. The power of our mind. And you guys, it's so funny because I tried something last fall, and it's in another book that talks about mindset, but it goes both ways. There was a gentleman who really wanted to study the brain and sleep. Okay. And he would go to sleep, and before he would go to sleep, he would tell himself, I am going to have the best night of sleep. I am going to rest. My body is going to, you know, heal and recover, and it's going to be stronger. And I'm going to wake up in excellent health, and I'm going to have a great day. And he did this every night, no matter how much time he had. One night he had 10 hours of sleep, another night all the way down to getting just 4 hours of sleep at night consistently. He would tell his mind this, and he would wake up refreshed. It didn't matter. It did not matter how many hours he got at night, but he told his body that he would have enough rest. I have all the rest that I need, and I will wake up refreshed and ready to go. Holy cow. Then he did it the other way. He told himself when he went to bed, oh my gosh, I am so tired. This has been such a rough day. I'm not going to get enough sleep tonight. I only have 5 hours and there's no way I'm going to get enough sleep. And he would go to sleep and he would wake up exhausted. Even 12 hours of sleep, 12 hours of sleep, you guys, okay, you're supposed to be rested. That is crazy. But he told himself that before he went to sleep and he would wake up exhausted. That's the power of your mind. I just blew me away. And that's like nothing compared to what you're going to find in this book about the power of your brain. So I just want to encourage you guys. We live by that self-conscious, negative, stinking thinking all the time, and we don't even realize that we're doing it. So all I want you to do is just start asking yourself to be aware of your thoughts. Just ask yourself to be aware of your thoughts. And then as you're aware of your thoughts, there's nothing wrong with the thought, okay? We all have thoughts. You know, we have a thought that, oh my gosh, there's more month than money this month, you know, finances, okay? But that's just a thought. You can say, I am wise with my money. I have all the money I need. And you move on. Okay, you might acknowledge that you had a negative thought, you know, or you're stressed about something. Acknowledge it, okay? Because it's just a thought. We have thoughts, they happen. But then you can choose what you're going to think and you're going to choose what you believe, and then you're going to act on that. And that, just asking yourself to be aware of that, and, you know, going to sleep at night, I'm going to get all the rest that I need. I am going to be refreshed and ready to go tomorrow. Just say that every night before you go to sleep. You will be shocked out of your mind at how great you're going to feel, because I did it. I felt so good. I felt so good. It was amazing. I stopped doing it. I forgot. You know, we forget these things. We start habits and then we fall out of them. But personal development, you guys, is just what it's all about, no matter what business you're in. But we talk about this business being a business of discovery, of personal development. And it is, because the more you develop as a person, the more your business is going to grow. Okay. The more you're going to grow. And, you know, you just got to get comfortable learning and growing, and tell yourself, you know, that you're excited about that. I'm excited about personal development. I'm excited about becoming more courageous. I'm excited about becoming more brave. I'm excited about becoming more positive. You know, just keep telling yourself those things, you know, and you will. I hope that helps.
I love that people are sharing in the chat. So I'd love for you guys, you know, I think that this is something everybody's a little passionate about.
Yeah. Well, somebody share.
Yeah.
I want to share.
Yeah.
Because I'll relate it back
to the Bella too.
Okay. Well, thanks. Back to the personal development. So, like, many of us have fear about sharing. Or what if you have these thoughts where, like, oh, I can't seem to get team members. Oh, I can't get a team member. Oh, I'm afraid to share. I'm afraid to share. Well, then you're just going to perpetuate that even more, because then when you go to talk to somebody, you don't have the confidence. So, you know, to make it happen. So when you do personal development, it gives you confidence in a certain area. Then when you're visualizing, you're confident, and then you do have success. So, I mean, I don't know if I believe that you can, like, and this is debatable because some people do believe this, that you can, like, concentrate on something and manifest the universe into something different than it is. But I think it's just a matter of, I don't know how it works, but I know for me, the way I rationalize it is you learn about something, then you have confidence in it, then you have the right thoughts about it, and then you start doing the activities that make that thing happen. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, amazing.
I saw Bella nodding when you were talking about the daily morning routine. I don't know, Bella, if you're still around. And then I heard you, Alexander. Go ahead, Alexander.
He's right. It's all about being organized. I think it's to be consistent and to have some kind of organization, and then you could see some progress. Or else if you don't have no organization, there will be no progress. And the thoughts will keep on coming back. So
yeah, like you have to go against the bad thoughts, really, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Are you new to our team, Alexander?
Sorry?
Are you new to our team?
I'm in Infinite Possibility Team.
Yeah, welcome to the team. That's awesome.
Welcome. I've been since August 3rd.
Okay, great.
I'm based in Canada.
Canada. We love
Yeah.
Canada. Awesome. We're glad to have you on here. Go ahead, Bella.
Oh, I talk about the flow. And I wake up 4:30 in the morning because that's why I feel like I get all of my juices from God and whatever I set up for the day. So taking that time for yourself, and it is a commitment to do so. I feel like when I get up, the universe is still asleep and I'm in my flow. And I get so much done in those 2-3 hours that I wouldn't have been able to if I was still sleeping.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I hear King. Is that his name? King in the background. King's part of the flow, I'm sure. Nicole, I see that you raised your hand. Go ahead. You guys can raise your electronic hand and we'll call on you. That's great.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to say something or add on to what Kristen said, that it has been very profound to me, because ever since I joined the business 7 years ago, I've been reading books that you guys recommend. And like Douglas said, I read whatever at the time I feel attracted or suitable, or I recognize that, oh yes, I need that. But then, and I'm sharing this just in case somebody's like me, I could read, and I have read so many books that I was not able to, I will understand them, but even though I finished them, I was like, okay, like, how do I put this in practice? And then she mentioned that she's doing it with a group of people and they get together on a Zoom and they share. And that's what I want to emphasize, because it was not until I got into community and I was able to share and listen from others and be vulnerable and, number one, internalize, admit, and then verbalize it. It takes a lot of courage. And once you say it, it's like, it lifts off from your bag. So if anyone, and so ever since I have I have had that experience through church, number one, when I did the Celebrate Recovery, then God led me to a transformational meeting or a transformational course, the gratitude thing. It was a transformational experience. Oh my gosh, now I get to read these books and I am able to implement them. I know myself more, where I know, oh, okay, he's saying this. And it's like, I understand 100% what they were saying into my life, rather than before that it was like, okay, sounds great, and how do I implement that in my life? So in case somebody's there getting together with other people and sharing and just listening from others, and at first maybe it's hard for you to say something until you get comfortable or you trust or you just start working on yourself, and then you start speaking. It's very profound. So thank you for that, Kristen.
You're welcome.
So Kirsten, you've looked at the chat. Is there anything you wanted to point out or jump off from?
Sorry, I did not look
Oh,
too much,
I
but I
see.
loved Elena's.
I like
quote.
Elena's quote. Yeah, by
Yeah.
Dr. Joe Dispenza. Maybe you could.
Oh, I mean, it literally is amazing. And as you read this book, it will agree with everything. It changes, your mind does change. It's amazing. And if you take time to visualize and you take time for those positive affirmations, one thing, like Nicole, you were saying, getting in community. A year ago, we started a couple groups on Voxer for affirmations. And it's been so powerful just to share our affirmations with each other. And I've been reworking my affirmations. One of them now is called my life principles. And I say them over and over. And one of the biggest things that I choose to see, and this helps me stay in this positivity, is I choose to see the best in every person. Most of the time when we come with people, we just immediately start judging. Anytime you meet somebody, you're looking at them, okay, and you start judging them. Ooh, this type of person, or this type of person, or whatever. Okay, let's just bypass all of that. And as we get to know people, we immediately categorize them. Let's try not to do that, because it normally goes negative, or like we're not enough or we're more than, which I just hate. That's just such a difficult thing. And so I'm just really working hard at seeing the best in every person, just welcoming every person, seeing the best in every person, because especially during this last year with all the political trials and the COVID and everything, social media is, I just can't, we just can't. So how can because I got to live there. Okay, guys, we got to live there. And we got to live with our neighbors, and we got to live with our family. That most of the time your family is the worst, at least in my family. It's like, but I'm going to choose to see the best in the person who doesn't agree with me. And that helps me be positive. And that helps me see they're doing the best that they can. And I'm doing the best that I can. It also, comes back to me. I'm doing the best that I can right now. And so anyway, with these affirmations, I think it's so good to be in community, to be sharing, affirming one another, going through these books together, talking about it, just like you have these lunch and learn, Sharon, ways of connecting, but even getting closer, you guys, with your own smaller group. Find 2-3 people that you can really be authentic and transparent with and grow with, and, share challenges. People can lift you up, and you can go through, like if you do the strength finders, don't do it alone. Don't do it alone. Pull someone in to do it with you,
So when you have a negative thought,
Yeah.
what do you suggest they do?
If they have a negative thought, that's the whole thing, in just recognizing that it is a thought. That's the biggest thing. When we have a negative thought, because I have them all the time. Oh my gosh, it's just terrible. Don't you? We have them. Like Doug said, I'm not going to get a team member. I'll put an expectation up here, and I'll say to myself, oh my gosh, it's close to the end of the month. I really want to get my 5-1, but I don't think I'm going to get a team member. Right there. I just said it. I verbalized, I don't think I'm going to get a team member. Right? So, okay. So I said that it's a negative thought. I said it. I'm going to realize it. I'm going to say, oh, wait a minute. I have an opportunity to get a team member. I just have to reword it. I have an opportunity to get a new team member. I can get a new team member. I can share with someone a wonderful opportunity today. It's just recognizing that you had the thought. There's nothing wrong with the thought, because we all have those thoughts. We got to turn it around and make it a positive thought. And then it's an affirmation. And then it's training your brain to think positively, that you can do it. It's rewiring your brain.
And, the more I read about the power of the brain, the brain is what causes people to even have anxiety attacks, panic attacks.
Yes.
The brain is powerful. Don't
Yes.
let the brain go negative, because it just feeds off of it. And I was on a coaching Zoom like many years ago with somebody, and somebody said, don't water that seed of doubt. Like, you might get a seed of doubt, but you don't need to water it and keep growing that seed of doubt to where it becomes bigger and bigger, So
Right.
We got to nip it in the bud before it becomes bigger. So sometimes, we're afraid to do a presentation. We're afraid of this or that. There's a lot of fear in this business. We're afraid of what we might post. All these things. Yes, red light stories, moving them to green light stories. That's good, Janie. So I think it's something that we have to really recognize that we have, and then we just got to work on it, like you're saying. So great. Okay, who else wants to talk?
Jeannie does. I just wanted to say something about the books that Kirsten gave us. You have on the back in the book, I just wanted people to know that you have the code in the back of the book, but when you get the other book, you have a code in it too. So I didn't know that. So now, you can take it. Kirsten, didn't you say you could take it more times just to see what happens?
I did. I took it again. You can do it a number of times. You have to change email because it's a specific, but you can also gift that code to somebody.
Right.
Which is great if you end up getting multiple books.
Yeah, which I thought was nice.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. According for the new partners, which country are we in? Other countries in North America? Can I get a partner like from Europe or Africa? No.
Yes.
Can somebody do Choose Plus in another country? That's my question.
Yes, there's, I think, 23 countries right now. We're
Oh,
not
yeah?
in every country that exists, but we're in 23. There's a lot in Europe, not in Africa, but a lot in Europe for sure.
Okay.
So on your virtual office or on juiceplus.com, you got to find the globe, and then you can pull down, like it's a pull down menu and see different countries. But yeah,
Okay.
now you can also talk to your upline sponsor or leader and say, hey, I was thinking of my cousin here. Are we in
Okay.
a particular country? Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm so excited about the changes too, Sharon. I hope you guys are all excited about the compensation, because our company has just been amazing for us. You know, I know you guys are going to hear more if you haven't already. Have you shared about all the compensation changes, Sharon?
We did, and I did make a 17-minute quick video for you guys who are on Team Transformers and Facebook, or anybody can copy that. It's also on the YouTube Team Transformers. Yeah, great changes to where you should be able to introduce the business to anybody. You know, if they just want to share a little bit, it's 3 trios. It's so easy. So man and wife and the mom of one of them. There you go. You're at Partner Plus. And then you get 3 more Partner Pluses with 900 each, and you're at QSC. You don't have to have any partners, but it's recommended. So yeah, totally. We've gone over it. I don't know if everybody's, you know, incorporated it yet, but it really is the best time. It's always the best time to introduce the business, right? But it always gets better and better. Right? I always say it's a great time to introduce the business, but then it gets better. So now it's another great time to introduce the business, right? Or to move up, or to revisit conversations with people who didn't, you know, sometimes people get out of the loop. It's not anybody's fault. They just sometimes need to get invited back in. You know, people tend to feel guilty once they've lost momentum. They feel terrible. They just need to get momentum again and get back with it and know that you're there to help them, you know. So always just touch base with people. Any more thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's such an important point, especially for new people. Sometimes they feel alone. I mean, that's why we don't sponsor you and say, okay, go for it, you know, and expect them to know what to do. We all could use the support. And like, once again, like Kirsten said, that's why I think this Lunch and Learn is so powerful. Because you don't have to know what to do. You have to know where your resources are and stay around the campfire, as Doug always says.
I know.
Yeah, so this is our communication system. This is our training system. This is where you can always tell people, come on the Lunch and Learn Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 12. And I know it doesn't fit everybody. Then we have it on YouTube. We have it on our Facebook group so they can watch the replay. Every once in a while, they might have off at 12, whatever. But we're trying to make it a place, you know, where you can bring people in and feel good about bringing people, you know, because everybody's voice should be heard. So use the chat. Do you guys have any more questions, especially if you're new? We'd love to hear questions or questions about events that are coming up. I know I had one this morning about the Love Yourself event. Vela is going to be speaking. Vela, can you just tell us a little bit about what happened to you that drives you to have better life choices now? Because Vela is going to be speaking. Alicia McDonald, I think she's on here also. I thought I saw her. So those two are the superstars. Okay, was that Alicia or Vela? Vela. Okay, we'll go to Alicia next. Vela, just very briefly tell us what changed for you, and then they can get excited about that event that's coming on the 16th.
Yes, most definitely. What I want people to walk away with is empowerment. And I talk about how my scars don't define me. And I learned to grow from that, and I've become a better person through the triumphs and understanding that you too can gain control once you obtain the information, hook and lock links with a community that thrives you. And the past, I'd say 5 years, I've been with Juice Plus, 4.5. I've lost like about 60 pounds. I'm in better health. I'm an ambassador for the American Heart Confidence. I am a food plant-based expert at this point, thanks to Nina and T, my upline. So I've been introduced to a lot that, and I was in desperation because I didn't know where to go. And I thank God that I found Juice Plus.
Oh, and you had a stroke and heart surgery?
I had a stroke, quadruple bypass, and a heart attack.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So she has come a long way, and she has a powerful story if you haven't heard it. I mean, she of course could have her own event by herself, which we did. It's on Team Transformers already. This one is going to be like, what else can you do? So Alicia, if you'll unmute, is going to also include some different ways to treat yourself kinder, right? To love yourself on a daily basis. And she also came from very hard time with cancer. So maybe you could mention that a little bit, Alicia, also.
Yeah, definitely. I'm super excited to share. I'm going on to 17 years cancer-free, and self-love is definitely very important in the maintenance of caring for your overall health, mind, body, spirit. So we'll definitely be able to tap into all those areas of life and how I've been able to tap into those avenues, and how I can teach others to do the same in order to remain, thankfully, cancer-free. I mean, you can't control that, but what you can control definitely puts you in the right direction to remain in that type of condition. So yeah, I'm excited to share next Tuesday as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So you can see it's going to be a great event. We, of course, have 100 lines on Zoom. We'll stream it. I think Michelle and I talked about streaming it into Plant-Based Power. And then that way you guys can do, what do you call them? Somebody? Watch parties. Okay. Haven't done one for a while. So yeah, the flyer was posted in the announcements in Team Transformers and also on the Voxer chat for that. And what else? Okay, so tonight, so we already did the lunch and learn. Thank you, Kirsten. We appreciate that. 8:30 tonight, Amy Getz is going to go over the compensation plan. And when you hear people who have 100, 200, 300, 400 clubs under them, you want to listen. So I'll be on there listening, even though, like I said to Kirsten, I think I know it all. I'm still going to listen because Amy will say something that will be like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I will use that in my conversations. That's the value of coming on things, even though you think you know everything, right? Plant-Based Power is a public page. So we'll stream it into a public page. Then you do a watch party. Okay, so then after that, Kerry Daigle, he's wonderful. I don't always tune into his stuff because it's at 9:50 p.m. Eastern. But not everybody's Eastern, and some of you like things at 9:50 Eastern. So I also put that in the chat. That's tonight also for, learning about how to, not everybody started out as an NMD, it's called. So it's going to be good, I'm sure. Okay, so what else, guys? Anything else? Sandy.
Yes.
Sandy. What are you excited about? Give us some exciting words. What are you going to focus on this week?
Oh my goodness, I am super excited about the changes. I know it's kind of maybe getting overstated at the moment, but the change in the compensation plan. I have 2 friends that I'm working with right now. So how nice is it to be able to go back and say, hey, by the way, you don't have to have 1,000, it's 900. So we're super excited.
Yeah, and have you looked at it for yourself?
And I absolutely love oh yes, absolutely. I did. I have to officially make my worksheet, but yes, I absolutely did. We're excited.
Wait, you didn't make
And
your...
then of course Thursday is Casey Slush.
Hi Savannah. Sorry for interrupting your nap.
Gosh, you highlighted. This is why we're usually, oh no, this is usually why my camera's off, because this is her nap time, 12:30. But yeah, so I have to finish the worksheet. But yes, I already know in my mind the numbers are good.
Oh, okay, good. You're gonna submit.
Yes, I have to submit the numbers. But then Thursday we have Casey Slosh, and who doesn't love Casey? We were just talking about it this morning.
I love Casey Schloss. Okay, so she's a pharmacist. She's going to talk about heart health. I think it's on the 11th. Is that this week? Oh my gosh.
It's this Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Thursday.
Wow.
Natalie has a question. How do you like to reach out to someone you don't speak to often via text to introduce Juice Plus? I think that's a great
So
question.
you want to reach out by text because you don't speak often? Is that what you're saying? Probably.
Natalie, you want to define your question?
All right, we're gonna.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have any plans of calling a few people that are on my list. Come here, Stella. So I thought maybe it'd be better just to touch base with them via text.
Right, but I wouldn't jump right into Juice Plus if I hadn't spoken to them in a while.
Okay.
Yeah, just reconnect and ask questions and get to know what's going on in their world more. And naturally, Juice Plus may come up, and it may not come up the first time you talk.
Okay. Get in the house. Hey there. Okay. Sorry.
I agree.
Got my hand slammed. Right.
Does anybody else have any advice for Natalie? That was great, Nalani. Okay, here's Katie. A lot of times they will ask what you're up to or doing these days, and that's a good way to introduce it. Yes, good. All right. Okay, well, I think that's it, unless you guys have any other questions. I think Denise had a question about the name of the book. The name of the book, well, there were a couple of them, Strength Finders and also Train Your Brain.
And the authors?
Train Your Brain is Dana Wilde. Strength Finders is
Don Clifton.
Don Clifton.
And you can get it on Amazon. And then the second one is also from Gallup, The Living Your Strengths. And that one is Albert Weissman and Don Clifton. So same one.
So
this is after. Get the other one first.
Kelly's asking, how do we do the test?
In the back of the book, there is a code that you can, it'll tell you the website to go to. You can input the code and you can do the test. And they'll give you some examples about the test. And it's really interesting. Like one of the questions might be what you would think it would be on one side. It's a sliding scale, okay? On one side, it'll say, I'm a messy person. On the other side, you would think it would say, I'm an organized person, but no, these two do not correlate most of the time. It says, I'm a messy person, and then it might say something totally off the wall, like I'm responsible. And you're like, well, wait a minute. I'm responsible, but I also like a little bit of a mess. So I'm somewhere in the middle. You might be both. And so it's wild. You have to do it when you're quiet. They only give you 20 seconds for each question. And if you miss, you miss. Like you don't want to miss. It's focused, and you just go with your first. It's just who you are. They're telling you who you are. So just go with your gut. You can get the code just by going to Gallup. Online, you can just Google Strength Finders and you can go purchase a code. But like Doug said, the book's really good. Even though you won't need all the book, you'll only read maybe like 7 chapters, and then the rest of it are all of the strengths, and they're defining what the strengths are. So you get to learn about all 34 strengths, but you don't have to read them all because you're going to focus on your 5.
Yeah,
so
if you get a print off, right? You should print off, you'll get a print off of your information. It's definitely worth it. Oh yeah. You can make sure that you're in your strengths and doing things that really bring you joy too. Because when you're in your strengths.
Spark joy, right? Who is that girl?
Joy.
Spark joy. What sparks joy? Yeah.
Right? Okay. All right, guys. Hate to say goodbye because I love seeing you guys, but we'll say goodbye.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
Great to see all of you.
And tonight, if you go on there.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah.
Great job.
Thank you. Thank you, Kristen, for everything.
Thank you. This is great.
See you later.
It's awesome.
Great to see you guys. Thank you, Kirsten. Okay, bye, guys.
Bye, guys.